ist eine Welt.
Grüß Gott, meine Damen und Herren, hallo, hallo. Ich hoffe, Sie haben alle Kopfhörer mit und können mich hören, ja? Für all jene, die hier sitzen und keine Kopfhörer haben, die kann man sich da vorne holen. Jetzt will ich nicht schreien, weil alle die Kopfhörer aufhaben, das ist ein bisschen zu laut. Schön, dass Sie hier sind, herzlich willkommen. Heute gibt es eine Weltpremiere hier. Heute werden wir das Metaverse erkunden. Doch was genau ist das Metaverse und wie sieht es dort eigentlich aus? Und was sind die Chancen? Genau das besprechen wir jetzt. Und da bitte ich auf die Bühne den Gründer von ViARsys, Konrad Gill. Trotzdem Applaus, weil das sieht man zumindest. Hallo, hallo, bitte einmal daher. Und auch Olivier Schaffer von Frei. Kommt auch zu mir auf die Bühne. Einmal hoch, einmal hoch. So, ich habe es schon ganz kurz angeschnitten. Wir werden über das Metaverse sprechen. Was ist eigentlich das Metaverse?
Das Metaverse, das ist eine gute Frage. Viele Antworten gibt es dafür. Also für mich ist es ein digitaler Raum und ein Zeitpunkt, wo man mit anderen Menschen Zeit verbringen kann und kreativ sein kann, arbeiten kann, Spaß haben kann, aber nicht in der Base Reality oder in der realen Realität am gleichen Ort sein muss.
Ist es Metaverse, wo man auch Grundstücke kaufen kann und so, oder ist es was anderes?
Naja, das gibt es auch. Mein Vater hat immer gesagt, jeder spielt seine Spiele. Das heißt, wenn wer Grundstücke kaufen will, ich selber habe keins, weil ich denke mir, in einem unbegrenzten Raum finde ich es persönlich relativ sinnbefreit, sich Grundstücke zu kaufen, weil dann kann man sich den Nachbarn nicht aussuchen.
Aber sehr, sehr spannend, weil Metaverse ist jetzt etwas, das wir nicht alltäglich sehen und heute gibt es auch eine Weltpremiere. Dazu gleich mehr oder gleich jetzt. Was passiert heute? Was machen wir heute? Welche Weltpremiere gibt es heute hier?
Also wir haben heute das erste Mal einen Stream von innerhalb des Metaverse, von einer Bühne, die rein im Metaverse gebaut worden ist. Und zwar, wir haben sie nachgebaut, die Game Changers Bühne, mit Teilnehmern aus aller Welt, die wir gleich kennenlernen werden. Sie schauen vielleicht nicht ganz so humanoid aus wie ich, aber wir werden sehr viele Insights bekommen und das Ganze wird aus dem Metaverse hierher gestreamt und dann vermischt mit dem Stream von hier und ist quasi ein hybrides Event.
Also ich weiß nicht, ob Sie sich das so richtig vorstellen können. Wir werden es dann zumindest sehen. Vielen Dank, Konrad Gill, du wirst uns durchs Metaverse begleiten. Olivier Schaffer von Frei. Wir werden jetzt hier etwas ganz Besonderes erleben auf der Bühne, aber wo kann man das hier beim Game Changers Festival denn noch erleben? Wenn man denn sagt, das ist cool, das will ich auch mal selber erleben.
Und zwar gleich in der Nähe, gegenüber von der Silent Stage, ist unser Stand, der VirtualReality Stand, und hier kann man ganz was Besonderes erleben. Einerseits eine rasante Fahrt mit einer Holzrennrodel in einem Eiskanal. Ja, das lässt sich hier umsetzen. Der bewegt sich auch mit und es ist wirklich sehr rasant. Also
es ist nicht nur die Brille, sondern es bewegt sich auch alles. Und
es bewegt sich auch. Das ist ganz wichtig bei Simulatoren, dass wir hier ein Feedback spüren und das verstärkt den Effekt. Ja? Und auch nur kleinste Bewegungen, wenn die richtig angewendet werden, zur richtigen Zeit hat, werden immersives Erlebnis. Einfach ausprobieren, dauert ein paar Minuten, lohnt sich auf alle Fälle hier auszuprobieren die nächsten Tage und heute. Und als nächstes haben wir einen Fallschirmsprung-Simulator.
Oh, das wäre was für mich, gar nicht. Nein, das ist schlimm. Aber cool.
Ja, der Fallschirmsprung-Simulator ist entwickelt und gebaut worden von einem lieben Freund und Kollegen, dem Paul Alexandrov. Der ist auch Fallschirmsprunglehrer. Hat den wirklich selbst gebaut, entwickelt, Software geschrieben und der wird hier auch gezeigt. Und mit Seilsteuerung kann man wirklich einen Fallschirmflug erleben, um zielgenau den Point zu treffen. Das ist auch eine Challenge und wirklich Adrenalin geladen.
Und das Gute ist, wenn Sie den Point nicht treffen, einfach die Brille runtergeben und Sie leben weiter. Das würde mir taugen. Nochmal ganz kurz, wo findet man den Stand?
Schräg gegenüber von der Silent Stage.
Na bitte, dann haben wir das jetzt auch. Ich würde sagen, Herr Schaffer, wir gehen von der Bühne, überraschen Herrn Gill die Bühne und das Metaverse. Viel Spaß.
So, I think we are live now.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay, I hope everybody can hear me and that we're live. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our panel today. My name is Nicole Rigo, also known as Subjectivity, and I will be moderating From the Inside Out, Exploring Metaverse Development. We're going to focus on new ways of remote collaboration for XR development that allow for creators to enhance their production workflows. Through our discussion and examining diverse use cases, we're going to gain some insight on how these new production tools are being used by our panelists and the benefits and challenges of working collaboratively within the metaverse. So we're actually broadcasting from the NeosVR Metaverse platform right now. This very studio was built collaboratively right here, and we're using a multicam system created in the platform itself to broadcast out to you. Right now, our live cam director, Carlos Austin, is using the system, which utilizes a virtual switcher for different camera angles in real time, just like a real TV studio. Neos is a social VR and metaverse platform that shares similarities with other things that you might be familiar with, for example, VR chat. However, Neos is so much more. It was built with the goal of creative collaboration. So instead of building in Unity and importing the finished product, all the creation happens right inside Neos itself. This allows for real-time collaboration, changing things on the fly when needed, and results in some truly creative problem solving. Neos uses Unity-style developer tools and logics, an in-game scripting language. So today, we're going to talk about developing and collaborating within the metaverse, inside the metaverse. How cool is that, right? All of our panelists have different backgrounds, from business to business, creator jams, interactive entertainment to art. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our panelists. First, we have Jason Moore, creator and director of the Metamovie Presents Alien Rescue. It's an award-winning, cutting-edge live virtual reality experience in NeosVR that combines elements of cinema, video games, live theater, and role-playing. Most recently, the project scored some wins at VR Awards and just last week at the Amaze Festival in Berlin. Next, we have Kris Rekers, also known as Medra. That's our toast over here, hello. Toast of the town, the founder and president for the Creator Jam Art Collective here in Neos. They have two primary events, Creator Jam and the Metaverse Maker Competition. Combined, these two events have encouraged the creation of over 750 virtual worlds with 3,000 participants and visitors. Creator Jam has been going on for 4 years. That's the longest running virtual reality collaborative creator event in the metaverse. That's pretty cool.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Next, we have Jerad Bitner, also known as Circuitry, who's an experienced computer technology professional with advanced understanding of virtual reality software solutions, as well as artificial intelligence and machine learning. He's a project manager and CTO at ViARsys. And last, but certainly not least, is Konrad Gill, or VRExist as we know him here. He's a VR and metaverse pioneer, founder and CEO of ViARsys, virtual and augmented reality systems, which builds virtual worlds and base reality use cases and helps organizations and companies utilize the potential of collaboration inside the metaverse. So I gave you guys a little bit of an introduction, but your projects are so diverse and interesting. So I'd like to hear a little bit about them. So could you each go down the line and tell us about your projects? And I believe we have some video too to go with it. Sure. Jason, you want to start us off?
Yep, I'm going to start us off. I'm going to just hop out of my chair here and walk over next to our screen. Here we go. And let's see. Will somebody hit my trailer? I think I can do it here. And I think you got to go there. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about the Metamovie project presents Alien Rescue. And what you're seeing right now is just a simple trailer of our experience. What I've always wanted to do to utilize VR is to take people into a story. So I'm a filmmaker, and all my life I always wanted that that imaginary sensation of stepping into the screen and experiencing the story from inside the world. And when I came to Neos to start building in VR about 5 years ago, I immediately realized that the tool set here was so powerful that I would actually be able to fulfill this lifelong dream. And so what we do in Alien Rescue is we combine elements of traditional cinema, but we add live actors. We have a lot of video game mechanics and components like branching storylines, and we ask our audiences to role play. So in Alien Rescue, we all kind of go on this mission together. There is no real audience. We all act and role play together, kind of like a LARP in VR. Our experience is about 70 minutes long, and we cover 6 major sets with an arcing storyline that climaxes with a really exciting rescue of an endangered alien species. This project took about 2.5 years to build and work on in Neos, and we could have never done it without the tool set that Neos provides. Our team of developers, writers, actors, avatar designers, sound designers, we routinely meet up together in Neos, and we build together in real time. Everything that you see here, from the sets to the effects to the avatars, those were all created using the tool sets that Neos provides. And I'm an indie filmmaker with a pretty low budget. There is really no way I could have ever created anything like this using a traditional Unity-based game developer's workflow. It just would not have been financially feasible for me. But when we're inside Neos and we have these powerful building tools, we can iterate and build and improve very, very quickly because we're all in the same place at the same time. We're talking to each other, we're sharing ideas. And so you have this great kind of group think happening around as you're building, as opposed to that older form of workflow where maybe your Unity dev would be sitting by themselves for, a couple of weeks building on an area of your experience or your map. Then they kind of, bake it and show it to you. You give them notes, and then 2 weeks later, they make some changes and you realize, oh, those weren't really the changes that I asked for. And you get into that kind of endless cycle of show me something, let me give you some notes, go away and come back later. Oh, those notes need to be revised. All of that stuff gets condensed down into a very short looping kind of turnaround time, because if I'm looking at a set in Neos with my crew and we don't like the lighting or the textures or the animations, we can change those things right then and right there on the spot. And that's what makes something like Neos so special. I'm happy to say that Alien Rescue has done very well on the award circuit, and we're running live shows every week. We have tickets available at themetamovie.com. So if you're interested in VR and storytelling, you can certainly welcome to come check us out. But yeah, I kind of represent on this panel the entertainer side. I'm trying to create immersive live experiences for audiences. I'm doing that on a relatively low budget, but I'm getting really amazing results because of the power of this engine and the way we're all able to collaborate together in real time. Okay, I think that's my piece here. So I will come back and sit down in my chair again. Thanks, Nicole.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Nice. Medra, would you like to talk a little bit about Creator Jam and Metaverse Maker competition?
Of course, sure.
Awesome.
So you can see behind me, this is Creator Jam, and what Creator Jam is a little bit difficult to explain. It's a creator event that happens weekly, and basically people get together in a place. So imagine that in a normal situation in real life that you would get together and you'd build a mural or have a potluck dinner. And so everyone kind of comes together with their own skills and interests, and some people can be beginners, just not know anything at all. And they end up coming together, and by the time they're finished, you have a really lovely meal, you have a beautiful mural, and for us, you have an entire world that's been built out. And so what we end up doing is building out this world, and then people can come back and visit. So imagine you built an entire house, and then you go in there and you see some furniture. You're at a friend's house that everyone's just built together. And you're like, I really love this couch. Can I have one? And you're like, yeah, sure. And you can just immediately make a duplicate of it and then use it. And so you could have this nice comfy couch for yourself. And so that's what the power of inside a metaverse you can do. So about 5 years ago, inside this platform called NeosVR, I met a lot of people that were very, very creative. And they were basically saying, showing off what they did. It's kind of like a show and tell session in school. And these crazy mad scientists and artist type people showed off what they were doing and saw this kind of welcoming spirit. And so we're kind of the keepers of that welcoming spirit. People come in and visit. They can just come in at any time, like a party, give their own contribution, and then leave. And then come back and visit that creation like an art gallery at any time. So we've been hosting this for over almost 4 years, and that's about 207 weeks in a row. And so Creator Jam also is a nonprofit, and we encourage creation altogether and try and set up an environment where people are able to thrive that are creators. And we also host a game jam, which, if those of you that are not familiar with a game jam, that's usually people that make video games that then build a video game in 48 hours. Well, we do an entire month. And we don't just do games. We do things that are like building out the bodies like you see here, or building out set pieces or entire environments or games, all kinds of things. And we do this in 1 month. And then once again, we share it so people can come and visit that like a festival. And so that's what you were seeing behind me. And that's called the Metaverse Maker Competition. And we've done that for 4 years in a row. Between Creator Jam and the Metaverse Maker Competition, we've encouraged 750 worlds to be built in 4 years, and also encourage people to,
Amazing.
Yeah.
And also we've had around 3,000 people come out and visit, and some participate as well. And so it's something that we continue to do, and we look forward to the power of how the metaverse allows people to come in, visit, have different cultures, come and enjoy each other's presence. We even have translators above our heads, just like subtitles, so we can communicate with people in all different languages. So very much like what we do here. We love community here and hope to see other people come into the metaverse and see that power of just presence, of sharing, and also encourage a creative spirit, which helps show people's own potential.
That's amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You need one of those in Neos. It's funny. It's so hard to clap in VR. So we actually can pull out clappers. I don't know if we can actually do that today because of performance issues. But thank you so much, Medra. That was really interesting and informative. Circuitry, do you want to tell a little bit about your projects here? Or
Yeah.
Great.
Sure. It's always funny jumping out of a chair, right? Thank you.
That's the metaverse. It's fun, right? You can jump out of whatever you want.
Yeah. So my name is Jerad. I go by Circuitry in VR and everywhere else, Twitter and everything. I see myself as more of a creative technologist, and so I sort of bridge the gap here between Medra and Konrad, because not only do I do a lot of art, which is, I think, more of my main passion within VR. Just creating within VR, you can totally lose yourself, and it's like drawing in 3D. It's an amazing and powerful medium, and you can just lose hours to it, or at least I can. I tend to like a lot of psychedelic type artistic things. I like to do kaleidoscopes, which is one of my fortes. And to sort of demonstrate how you can build a little bit in here, I'll just do some basic shapes. And then later on, we'll sort of do a little bit of collaboration. But you can kind of see how you can easily and quickly create shapes and build things very quickly and easily in here. And then also color these and add animations all from within VR without ever taking off your headset. No more of that developer, paradigm of having to take the headset off, see how it looks, make changes, put the headset back on, test how it's going. You just do it in real time in VR. I like to do 3D interfaces as well, and I also do contract work. So working with Konrad and with other folks around the world. Honestly, I have clients who they see what we can do in here and they get ideas. I love that moment when you show somebody like what is possible, and the spark just goes off, right? The spark goes off, and they're like, "You mean we could do X, Y, and Z?" And we're like, "Yes, we can do that."
You can do anything.
It is.
You can do anything.
Gives me goosebumps every time. It's so amazing. So I'm motivated by art, and I'm motivated by money, and so bringing those two together, like I've tried to figure out ways to make money with my art. But more often than not, people just need a way to do things like this. They need to build an environment. They need data visualization, which allows me to bring some art into it. And I don't have a fancy video. I apologize. Yesterday was Mother's Day, and I did not prepare a video for everything. But taking a lot of those arts and my art installations are in virtual reality. So I will create a whole world based around an art piece, and that is what we go see. I'll get some friends together and we'll say, hey, let's go check out this new world that I built, and just show them how I built it and the different techniques. That's pretty much what I have to say for that. So I'll hand it over to Subjectivity.
Yes. Konrad, do you want to continue on a little bit about the business aspect in ViARsys?
Sure.
Oh, you're in the floor now.
I'm gonna fly here. So yeah, my name is Konrad Gill. I'm the founder of ViARsys, Virtual and Augmented Reality Systems. I started ViARsys actually in 2016, and the preparation before, because I was like blown away coming from the immersive entertainment industry. From the arcade industry, and like I was blown away when I first time had a proper VR headset on. I thought, like, you have to do something with this VR. And then came 2017 when we founded ViARsys, and first, we built like what could you do with VR 2017? You could do events, you could do product visualizations, and exhibitions, and it was all like for these sorts of events. And we started the traditional way by developing with Unreal Engine and Unity. But then when we contacted Neos, and I first time saw the beta version of Neos, and I thought like, oh, okay, that's it. So no more of writing emails. We can like actually work together. I can put the client with us here. So a marketing person who has no coding experience can come and have actually an impact on the product. An artist can like create a world without any coding experience, and then somebody else who has this can be with him in the same room. And I always say to the clients, this is more like working on a construction site rather than this solely sitting alone and developing kind of work. So it's like working on a construction site. Sometimes we even have heads in here when we work, but we don't need them. So basically, the thing is, I can like have a tool, and I can just give the tool to you and explain you the tool. I can give you a tool. And so this blew me so much away that then in 2018, we changed all our development and started doing projects, VR projects, VR-based reality VR use cases within the social VR platform. And we are also distributing Neos to companies and to corporations and to organizations. So we are teaching others how it works and helping others, consulting others, and building all kind of stuff, from railway trainings to concerts to museums, all kind of stuff. Yeah. So
amazing. Really, really nice. Thank you very much.
Nice.
As we do our silent clapping again. So yeah, things are a little bit different in VR. We all have different avatars. Could we just go down the line very quickly and talk a little bit about, just like in a sentence or two, why you chose to present yourself the way that you chose to today in your avatar? Because not everybody chooses to be a bulldog or toast or a giant moth. I'm a big Mafia fan, so that's why I have my avatar. But go ahead and tell us a little bit about why you chose to present yourself this way today.
Well, I think, you know, a lot of people don't understand if you're not in VR and you see everybody's kind of weird avatars, there's sometimes just a misunderstanding of like, well, why do you present yourself that way? But once you step into VR and you look around, you realize that VR is a land of magic and wonder and play. It feels like we're at like Hogwarts or something. There's all this magic all around you. And when you're surrounded by these very powerful tools and affordances, like you feel like you're in a sci-fi, you know, fantasy world. Being human seems a little bit boring, actually, because you see all the creativity around you and you realize like, wait, you know, all my life I've looked the way I look like in the mirror, but I'm now in this place where that doesn't matter anymore. And I can look like anything I want. And so your imagination starts to go wild. And, you know, the first couple of days or hours you're in VR, you're probably wearing some stock avatar that you just found on your platform, but you start meeting people and you start seeing, and you're like, oh, well, there's somebody who's, you know, really well dressed with these beautiful wings, and oh, there's somebody really interesting who's carrying the sword around, and this guy, and your imagination starts to go wild, and you have this freedom to kind of be playful. And so I just love bulldogs. And when I got married, a sculptor friend of mine made this little kind of cake centerpiece that had a bulldog in a tuxedo with his arm around a little cat in a wedding gown as a kind of a gift to me and my wife. We were both animal lovers. And I always loved that little statue. And when I started thinking about like, well, what kind of custom avatar might I want to wear, I just kept looking at that little bulldog statue. And so I contacted an avatar designer and said, you know, here's some pictures of this bulldog statue. Do you think you could turn this into an avatar? And, you know, a couple weeks later, it was here. And now, you know, now that I'm in it, it feels very me. You know, like I look down and I see these big meaty paws, and they're me. Cute. And if I'm wearing another avatar, I just don't feel like it's myself anymore. Like I'm just more comfortable in this guy. So it's just
everybody wants to pet you.
That's true.
I do get
That's true.
Pets, yeah.
So
anyway, yeah, for me, it's self-expression, you know?
Yeah, and Medra, is it because of the Creator Jam, sort of, not a pun, but like the words? Is that why you chose it? Like, what came first, the toast or the jam?
So, Creator Jam.
That's good.
Yeah. So the name came first, and then eventually, I come from a background in costume design, like not that I would, for Halloween and things, I would build costumes out. And so I really like the idea that, you know, especially I love Halloween, that one day a year, if not more, hopefully, you get to just put on a different type of body mask. And this isn't any type of hiding from self or anything, but just kind of an extra level of expression. And so I thought this is going to be a lot of fun. And then in virtual reality, you wear it every day. And the best part about it is it becomes your embodiment. You're like, this is who I am. These parts that you end up building on yourself, and then they become familiar. And the more you wear it, the more you get used to it. Just like getting used to a bed that you're sleeping on or something else that becomes who you are. And so this kind of started as a joke. And then there's people, even though people can be anything in virtual reality, you see a lot of people that are bipedal or have some kind of thing that's related to humanoidish forms. And so people would look at me and say, what the hell are you? Like that kind of visceral reaction, like, what are you? and they'd start laughing immediately or anything. And that was the kind of reaction I want. I want this kind of like just shocked reaction. And if I can be anything in virtual reality, why not be something that I could never be in real life? And that's what made me kind of choose this type of body and kind of play around with it. And then what's nice is you can even modify these things and change them around. And next thing you know, you have multiples of these.
Sure.
And that's awesome.
That sounds great. Do you have one more thing to add to that, or?
No, basically it's just something I would encourage everyone to find what fits personally for themselves. Maybe start off with something or try on different bodies basically, and then find what fits for your own personality. And people think this is a lot like a video game, and certainly there's the avatar type of creation, or like just like in a profile on a social media, but to actually be inside of it is a totally different thing, and I hope everyone gets to experience that sort of thing.
Circuitry, do you want to just give us a few, yours is humanoid, obviously, but it's like sort of an anime flavor, just a little brief something about why you chose this?
Yeah, mine's pretty simple. I'm a fan of anime, and I really like I like the humanoid, but the cartoonish aspect of it. And I'm a fan of Sword Art Online, which is where a character becomes trapped in virtual reality, and so I thought it was pretty appropriate. Yeah, it's interesting how that becomes you sort of become an embodiment of that. And there are times where I feel like I'm trapped in VR, or I confuse reality with virtual reality. So
that makes a lot of sense. And Konrad, I see that I know that usually you're in a truck, but I know today we're kind of balancing between base reality and so it's a little bit more easy for people to identify, oh yes, that's the guy that's sitting on the stage right now live with us.
I decided to be a human because like one has to be human, some sort of, to connect to base reality. But you're right. Actually, my first avatar was a truck, a Jeep. I can actually bring it here.
Actually, that actually is really cool, because that actually spawns into my next question, which in VR you can kind of just spawn stuff out and play with it. So yeah, that is how I'm used to seeing you.
But actually, that was because it was just the first model that I brought in, and then I made my avatar out of it, and then like everybody thought that it's cool, you're a car, and so then we iterated on that, and then friends helped me to like make it have even more ideas. So now you can like sit in the seats in the car and so on, and it has many more functions. So yeah, it's just like somehow evolved. But I find the avatar question very interesting, because like everybody has a different approach to that one, and some people have like always the same avatar, some people switch, and so it's a very interesting type of embodiment. But you have to feel VR to know why this is interesting.
Excellent. So I think we have a few little performance issues, so it might be difficult to spawn a lot of things out, but can maybe one of you show us a little bit about how some of these tools work here in Neos, maybe pull out an inspector or spawn out. You already saw circuitry and ViARsys, Konrad and Jerad spawn out a few things, but maybe you could spawn out a shape and change its color or something like that. And then
I can use my material gun and blast it with some material once you get that. That's pretty low performant.
All right, so that's good. We have a few shapes.
Quick shapes here.
And of course, the shapes you can join up together using like the glue gun or whatever, and all of a sudden you have actual things, and then you can change their color.
And with this thing right here, this is called a material gun, and I can use it and like aim it at a material like the red leather of this chair, and I can hit a button and it pulls the material actually into this little orb here. And if the material is sitting in the gun just so, and I laser something else, I can actually change that material of that. I can even hit somebody like Konrad, and I can change him into all red. I can change myself into all red like this, and then with just a couple of undos, I can take us back to normal.
So
Pretty cool.
I can see where this is really collaborative, but the workflow must be difficult when you have a whole bunch of people around and creating something. So are there any sort of tools or philosophies that you go by for workflow?
Maybe. Sure. So basically, we developed quite some tools to help our collaboration. Especially we have like mind maps and boards and.
It's a really good point to talk about too, is the fact that we can build our own tools in here, right? Neos is a tool that allows us to build other tools within virtual reality in order to accomplish our jobs. So we can create project management systems within here in order to help us collaborate and coordinate and say, here's the tasks, who's doing what. And so we have a mind map application that we like to use sometimes. We have just flat boards that represent sort of like a Kanban style. And sometimes we use outside tools as well, like Trello, to just coordinate between people who may not be in VR at the time. So there's many different methodologies, but I think using tools like this, which allow us to just
went to the office, which is just actually also something you can do. So I knew in our office we have this board. I just jumped to our office and thought, okay, I bring now one thing that we developed is like a whiteboard where we can draw on it, paint on it, put pictures in it, and you can take one thing from one world to the other world and just exchange the tools.
Oh, that's cool.
That's really cool. That's really neat. So, wow.
And you're doing art already again,
right?
Right.
Well, that's another question. It's like, we're doing art, we're doing stuff, and like, how do you make stuff like this profitable? Are like cryptocurrency NFTs the answer, or like for our business guys, how does that work?
Sure. Yeah. Crypto is an interesting topic. It's very polarized, I think, within virtual reality, especially within Neos. Has some history there. Money is universally a thing which can be used for good or bad, and there are inherent risks with greed, right? So things like cryptocurrency get a bad rap, I think, for some of that because there are bad actors in the place. But so are there in US dollars or euros. There are people using money for nefarious things. I personally don't care whether somebody pays me in crypto or pays me in, a regular US dollar or something like that.
I think the great discussion came with this NFT hype because that was like a fundamental question for some people. Do digital assets need an owner? Because in the moment when I can like give you this tool and present it to you and it doesn't cost anything to produce, so there are, and then there are two hardcore factions. I think that the answer is like with everything in the middle. But there are then this hardcore opinions where somebody says, okay, digital ownership is not necessary anyway at all in no cases. And then there is this other movement which says every little piece of digital thing needs an NFT because you have to make money out of it and needs to be unique. So, and I think that there will be places like where this plays a role. Like in the beginning in base reality, the moderator asked me about like the metaverse, is this the one where you can buy real estate? It's like for me not, because I think that generally the idea of having real estate in a endless digital space, for me that's an idea that I don't really like can comprehend. But for others, if they want it, my father always said like everybody plays his game. If somebody wants to play digital Monopoly and make money with it and take money from others with it, be my guest. But it's, so yeah.
I agree. Yeah. I think you put it really well, Konrad. There's a good middle ground in here somewhere. I mean, crypto right now doesn't really function very well as a day-to-day currency because the value of it is so unpredictable and the exchange fees are so high. So hopefully we'll find something.
All right. Well, thank you so much for answering my question and giving us that little demonstration about how it works in here. I'm sorry we don't have more time, but we do have to wrap things up, unfortunately. So I wish we had more time. I really do, because I have so many more questions for you guys, and I'm sure the audience out there does too. But thank you, everyone. So we need to wrap up. We've heard from a nice diversity of projects today, and I hope it will provide just a start of some food for thought about collaboration and future of working in the metaverse. I'd like to thank all of our panelists today for the engaging conversation, as well as our live cam director, Carlos Austin, and to Sid Sittner for building this virtual studio. Thank you, everyone at 4 Game Changers who worked hard to make these presentations possible. And finally, I'd like to thank all of you at the festival for listening to our panelists today. I hope you have a great time at the rest of the festival. Have a wonderful day, everyone.
And thank you, Subjectivity.
Yeah, thank you, Subjectivity. That was great. That was really fun.
Thank you.
Well done.
Meine Damen und Herren, Konrad Gill. Dankeschön. War super. War super. Vielen Dank. War spannend, oder? Mal was ganz anderes. So, bevor ich Sie in die Pause entlasse, weil es gibt dann eine kurze Pause, wollte ich Ihnen noch sagen, Sie haben ein Badge, das hängt da rum, da ist hinten ein QR-Code und den können Sie scannen mit der Handykamera und da sehen Sie auch ein Networking-Tool, da sehen Sie, wer aller hier ist, mit wem kann ich mich vernetzen. Sie sehen aber auch den Messeplan und ganz wichtig, das aktuelle Programm, weil es kann sich immer wieder mal verändern und verschieben, also da immer wieder kurz reinschauen, was denn als nächstes kommt. Und ich kann noch sagen, was hier als nächstes kommt. Um 16 Uhr sehen Sie die Living Standards Award 2023. Da werden wir innovative Ideen und Unternehmen ehren. Also um 16 Uhr geht es hier los. Bis dahin gerne etwas zum Essen holen. Popcorn gibt es auch, Nägel machen, alles kann man hier machen. Vielen Dank, bis später um 16 Uhr.